In this video, we're going to take a look at a brown ink by Noodlers, a part of their V-Mail series, Burma Road Brown. Now, as always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, I'd appreciate you checking out the entire video. Also, down in the description, you'll find a link to the brown ink playlist, so if you want to see more, you can find that there. I'm an ink guy, and let's get into the first writing sample done on 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We do see spots of shading where it's a dark brown, but then we get spots that are so dark it's almost like black, like the D in road, the K in quick, the he in the lazy starts almost black and works its way brown. The K in quick in the medium, the E and the he and the. Very nice shading going on. The extra fine took 11 seconds to dry, while the medium took 16 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show good color variation, and it really does look good here. And the smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. In order to have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Franklin-Christoph Model 66 with a broad sig nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. No bleeding, some minor ghosting. No feather, spread, halo sheen. We are seeing still some of those dark spots like the K in quick jumps looks very dark. The K in the other quick, the R in over or the word the, all very dark, very nice shading going on here. The extra fine took 18 seconds to dry while the medium took 24 seconds to dry. The scrubby for both show a little color variation and it shows up in the writing. It's just that it's going from a dark brown to an almost black. And the smear test, you can't recover if you smear while you're writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and then it's put in the water for 10 to 15 seconds. And this is a very interesting look at it because we see this purplish line at the bottom. The purple is pushing its way up, but then what we get is a darker green across the top. Very interesting, but purple and green will make brown. The one on the right that's let dry for 10 minutes, that purple has really sunk in and bonded with this paper. The green is what's pushing its way up and away from the water, showing that purple may be quite a bit more resistant with this ink. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We do have those dark spots in the shading that are showing up, like the B in brown, K in quick, the other K in quick, the word the, R in over. Very nice shading throughout. The D in road, very dark compared to what's right next to it. The extra fine took 13 seconds to dry and the medium took 17 seconds to dry. Now the scrubby for both show a little bit of color variation, but I think the dark spots show up very nicely in the writing. The smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink can be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, the way it makes the highlighter fluid so muddy is the reason that I really wouldn't use it in a note-taking situation. I just feel that it would make my notes look entirely gross, although all the information is there and protected. Now, water, if you see at that very bottom part, is moving a lot of the purple off, but leaving the green, moving the green off, but leaving the purple, which we kind of expect from the chromatography. Pen Flush is doing the exact same thing. It's really moving that green off, leaving that purple bonded with the paper. 1/3 bleach solution is discoloring the paper, leaving it a little yellow. Now, to get this out of the pen, it really only took water, but the converter was being a bit persistent. It took it took Pen Flush to get it out of the converter, not the 1/3 bleach solution, the Pen Flush, and that it went kind of quick, but I did have to use Pen Flush to get it completely out of that converter. The next writing sample is done on yellow Rhodia paper. I was really interested to see what kind of tone change we might go through for having a yellow background. Now, it very much is the same brown, but in a lighter tone. All of the performance is the same, which is really what we expect. But it definitely lightens it up, and I prefer it on the white paper, even though the super dark browns aren't my thing. I think this looks much better than this. It's still brown. Not that I think using it in a professional setting is much of an issue here. I don't know that many people use brown inks in a professional office. For the inks tested, the average viscosity was 2.5, and the realm of normal was 2.1 to 2.9. Noodler's V-Mill Burma Road Brown has a viscosity of 2.47, making it normal. If you're interested in how the viscosity tests and all that's done, then down in the description is a link to that video. Now, let's take a look at Franklin-Christoph paper. We have no bleeding, no ghosting. A little bit more of an absorbent paper here. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We only have a couple spots where some shading shows up in the extra fine, like the B in brown or the K in quick. The extra fine took 7 seconds to dry. It's a little bit lighter tone than the stub. The medium took 9 seconds to dry. It's the same tone as the stub. The scrubby for both is showing some color variation, but we only really got some spotting of it with the extra fine. The smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time was 17 seconds, and the realm of normal was 13 to 21 seconds. Noodler's V-Mill Burma Road Brown has an average dry time of 17 seconds, meaning it's not just normal, but average. The last writing sample is done on Strathmore calligraphy paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We have no feather, spread, halo sheen. We have some spots of shading that are showing up where you see the B in brown, the X in fox. The word the is very dark. Over goes light to dark. In the medium, just a little bit of lighter areas, like the center of quick is a little bit lighter. The beginning of fox, a little bit lighter. Not a ton here. Extra fine is quite a bit lighter than the stub. The medium's the same tone as the stub. The extra fine took 8 seconds to dry, while the medium took 10 seconds to dry. Scrubby for both don't really show much color variation, and we're really only getting pepperings of it in the writing. And the smear test you could recover if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like Noodler's V-Mill Burma Road Brown, I'd prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I decided to go with a magenta ink from Atramentis Fuchsia. Now, if you'd prefer a different complement color, then down in the description are links to those playlists. So what do I think of Noodler's Burma Road Brown? In the wrong pen, this looks like poop on the page. In the right pen, it looks great, like I expect from a Noodler's brown ink. Without shading, it's gross. So protect the shading with this ink. So what nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience with this ink? A medium flow, medium nib really makes it dark enough to get that very dark brown to black, which has it looking good. But if you went with a dry stub, poop on the page. I hope you got something out of this video, and in the next video, we're going to take a look at Sailor's Okuyama.